Dude, that is
You're such a savage. Guy, bro.
this guy.
This guy, bro. This guy. Gonna happen, man. Oh my god. No, dude. This is crazy, bro. And you need to
So
you stay paranoid. But like, I can't help but hold my excitement. A part of me wants to be stoic and pull off the side of like, oh, John, you gotta stay careful. But this guy had 500,000. Like, what?
yeah, 500K by March 28th is relatively. Have you adjusted your goal?
No.
Isn't it 1.1 or something? 1.033?
Wow,
Isn't it?
this
Yeah,
guy's
but
a
like,
savage.
when I ran my first marathon, halfway through, I stopped at a Tim Hortons. I fucking, I mean, I was like, haha, this is nothing.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. My first marathon, halfway through, I was like, I literally like, I think I texted Trisha, I'm like, this is nothing, like whatever. Right?
You're joking, man. I would have
like,
loved to just.
And it wasn't until I got like 10K after that, so it wasn't until the 30K mark that I was like, oh, okay, this is the real halfway mark.
So the last 10K.
Yeah. Like it's
painful.
Yeah. Like when people say, oh, like I'm halfway to my goal, I need to raise it. No. The halfway point to your goal is actually like around 80%. I think 80% booked is about halfway.
Interesting.
Because no, I'm serious though. Like I always tell people,
I believe it.
I think the halfway point to the summer is August 1st.
Crazy.
Like that's the mentality you have to have, right? I mean, like if I think this is the halfway point to my goal, whoo, boy, I'm in for a world of suffering. I'm gonna get sawed down. No, like, you know what I mean? Like, because in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, it's halfway. I can slow up a little bit. It's like, no, dude, are you kidding me? Like, we have so much. Like, I've probably only put in, I would say less than 30% of the work I'm gonna have to put in this year. Maybe only 20%. So like there's no celebration at all.
I love what you're saying. And just to tie it back to what you said before, how does this mindset around kind of timeliness of goal achievement, I totally get what you're saying. 50% accomplished is not 50% of the way there chronologically. How are you planning on gearing up or taking more on? Like you said, this is where you plan to kind of kick it into a new gear and decide, hey, is this it? Is this it?
Well,
and how do you plan to do that and maintain control over your involuntary reactions that are causing you some kind of internal turmoil?
You can't control the involuntary. That's the difficult part.
Right. Okay. So what
it's
have you
focusing
put
on
in
the
place?
voluntary.
Okay.
It's focusing on the voluntary. But I think that, a really big thing for me, and because a turning point last year was actually around this time. People's mindset when COVID hit, right? After because there was even my involuntary reaction last year to COVID was like I remember calling Corey and being like, I wasn't crying, but I was pretty close too. I was like, oh man, like, are you kidding me? Because I was at $250,000 last year at this time, which
no, it was like March 12th or something, 13th. Yeah.
Well, this last week was like the week that I couldn't work. Like that was, so I went down in sales. But anyway, I was at 250. I remember calling, it was like last week. I called Corey. I was like, dude, like what? Like, are you man? Because because I was like this was the year I was going to go and break the record, right? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, man? I just put in all that work. Like I was just building up steam. Even that was my initial reaction. But then after I thought about it, I was like, no, that's not the right reaction, right? So it's processing it. But there's also a certain point where I think that it's like I have to have that conversation with myself, right? And be like, I think just doing that self audit of realizing. It's one thing to know there's the fork ahead and to know that when the fork comes, you're going to turn left. It's another thing that when you're at the fork and there's the easy path and the hard path, it's a different thing to actually then go down the hard path. You know what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying? So 4 weeks ago, I know there was going to be that fork in the road where I was going to have to make that decision. We going easy, we going hard. But now that you're actually at the fork, it's like now it's like now it's present. It's like, okay, now we got to actually, we got to be careful here. We actually have to go, we want to make sure we go the right way. Right. Yeah. So, bringing myself back down to the basics, realizing the basic inputs of what's actually gotten me to where I am and what the basic inputs are for the future. Okay. Making sure that I'm following up on the systems, making sure that I'm reassessing how I'm doing things. Is my walkthrough as good as it needs to be? Is my estimate process as sharp as it needs to be? Is my initial call as sharp as it used to? Am I as prepared for production as I think I am? Am I actually as well hired? Are my job ads actually looking good? Like really reassessing, right? Like basically restarting the entire year, right? And saying, look at like what is everything I'm actually doing? Is it as sharp as it could be? Because it needs to be in order for me to actually now get to the next level.
John, based on our last conversation, like last week, I created a corporate rating checklist, which is a checklist of all things that your business needs to be doing in order for it. Like it's these inputs that you're talking about. So I'll send it to you after if you want to get into that habit of just constantly auditing your business. Because like when I was asking Austin all these questions, I had all these questions in my head, but I actually put them on a checklist and you can see how healthy your business is.
Yeah. Well, and the reason why it's so important, I think at this time, because Austin, the reason why I say it's so important is because once you go down the easy path, like once you actually do accidentally go down that wrong path, it's like, you're down it. Like it's so hard to backtrack at that point, right? Like it's not, and the farther you get down the easy path, the harder it is to just get back across the hard path, right? So I'd almost go as far as to say, like, it's like once you step off the cliff, like you're falling. Like there's not much, like, you know what I mean? Like there's not much you can do.
Could you maybe give me an example of like easy, hard? Like what are you actually referring to? Like draw a line in the sand here of what you would choose easy, what you would choose hard.
Am I going to make that one more call?
Okay. Yeah.
Am I going to fit in those three initial calls?
It's a slippery slope.
Am I going to, am I going to fit those extra 3 calls in? No, it's good. Right. Am I going to get up at that certain time? It's good.
You're
right?
avoiding a slippery slope. Today?
Yeah. It's good today. Right. So it's like before you actually slide down, you need to catch yourself.
What's
right?
present in one area of your life is present in all areas of your life. Shout out to
but where the weakness, where you're, I think, most vulnerable to the weakness is actually when you're doing your best. Because that's when the weakness has the strongest argument as to why you can slow up. When you haven't started, the weakness is like it maybe has a good you don't want to start, right? But once you get going, the weakness loses its argument, right? But then once you have a tremendous amount of success, the weakness comes in. It's like in bed with you. It's like, hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, let's just stay here. We don't need to do that, right? Or it's chilling in the corner of your office. It's like, hey, dude, man, you worked so hard these last 2 weeks. You don't need to make those last 3 calls. And it's like the weakness slides into your life a little bit, right? Like it moves. At first it sleeps on your couch, and next thing you know, it's fucking your girlfriend. Like, I mean, the weakness comes in, man.
Whoa, that was so good. That's so good.
Right. Yeah. The weakness, like it moves in, you know what I mean? It's like, you gotta be so careful. You gotta keep the door locked or whatever. Right. You know, you get a little comfortable after a while. You stop locking the door.
There's a really good quote that a note that I took down. I mentioned I was reading one of Jordan Peterson's new book. You know what? It will fuck your girlfriend though, for sure. I can totally see that. One of the notes I took down from one of his chapters is on this subject is, am I trying to live in a world where I want to work? Am I trying to live in a world where I want it to work versus willing to make it work? So it's kind of like the idea of, are you willing to actually create the structure that makes it work, or do you just want it to work? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or in other words, it's one thing to say you want something. It's another thing to then actually get to the point where it's like, hey, motherfucker, do you actually want this? Because like, we got to go this way. Right. I don't know. Those moments I find those fun. Like those moments are cool because that's when you get to release. And in a sense, it's sort of interesting because that's actually when you get to discover, like, if you're actually about your stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like that's when you get to discover. It's like, oh, like that guy that you see in the mirror every morning. Yeah, is that guy? Like, let's see how strong that guy's character is.
Yeah.
Right. And well, you would want to find out that it's strong. Yeah. You don't want to find out that it's weak. Right. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.